Hey there, happy day. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, also known as Pajama Grandma, talking about how to hit the books to supersize and grow your business. Hit the books is an expression that it's one of those idioms that they don't really know the origin of. I looked and I researched, I actually Googled and tried to track down at different sources hitting the books to find out where the origin and where this idiom came from, but there's no information about it. It's one of those mystery idioms. Of course, it means to study or research or look into or to prepare for class by opening the books and looking at the books and looking at the information that you're supposed to get prepared for to go to class. Now, I think that maybe this expression is related to hit the trail, or I say hit the road now, because cowboys, when they were beginning a journey, would say, let's hit the trail, let's hit the, well, they didn't say hit the road, they'd say hit the trail. But now we say, let's hit the road, let's get going, which means to begin a journey, which I think is a little bit different than the meaning of hitting the books. To me, hitting the books means to research, to do your homework, to look into, to investigate, to, run a background check on the people you hire, call their references. I know so many business owners that have gotten burned because they didn't take the extra 5 minutes or have someone else do it to call a person that they were interviewing's references. People are awesome, but sometimes they don't always tell 100% the truth when they come in to interview with you for a job or for an opportunity. So we have to do our homework. We have to actually, what we put into something is what we get out. So if we want a good result, if we want to make good decisions, we need to do our homework. We need to spend a little bit of time. We need to put a little bit of energy and resources into investigating anything. If we're going to start a new product line, do we just decide that we're going to start a new product line and not do any homework to see if that's even a viable product line for our business? No, we usually don't. If you're an online knowledge expert and you're going to provide a course or a workshop or have an event, do you hold an event without asking questions and looking into, well, what is there even a need or a desire for that event? No, we do our homework, we investigate, we look into things. So my question for you today is, when is the last time you, for your company, hit the books and really dug into and investigated? Do you pay attention to what's going on in your industry? What's going on with the competition? What's going on in the world? What's going on that you can use to build and grow and supersize your business? We do this by looking at different sources. We do this by looking at different industries. We do this by always be learning, by always learning and growing and having our business be a living thing that's always changing and growing and expanding with the rest of the world, because the world doesn't stop just because we get comfortable in our business. We're either growing and expanding, or we're shrinking back, and even staying the same means we're shrinking because everything around us is changing all the time. So investigating, making sure that we do our homework is the number one way that we grow and supersize our business, by hitting the books. Hitting the books might mean doing a self-audit, going through and asking yourself, and I used to do this and I still do this at least once a year, usually twice a year. I will take a day and just audit everything in my business. What's working, what's not, what do we want to do more of, what do we want to do less of. And it's not just a financial audit, it's an everything audit. It's a processes and systems audit. And I've done lots of them, so I can easily do that in a day. So if you've never done one, it might take you a few days to do, but it's a really powerful exercise in finding the holes in your business. You can do the same thing with your industry. Usually once a year, we'll do the same thing. We'll just go out. We'll kind of do it on a continuous basis, but we'll go out and we'll investigate and pay attention to, on purpose, the trends. We'll do a SWOT analysis. We'll look at the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, not only for our business, but for other businesses in our industry or for related industries, other things, because we want to do our homework. We want to hit the books and make sure that on a continuous basis, we're making decisions that are moving us toward our big goals as a business. And we want to grow and impact the world and make the world a better place, and that's how we define supersizing. You can define supersizing any way you want, but for us, it's making a bigger, more positive impact on the world. So today, question for you: when is the last time you hit the books? Maybe personally. I heard a horrible statistic and I didn't believe it at first, and then I started looking into it, and now I sort of believe it. It said that over and I can't remember if it was 79% or it was a huge number to me, percent of people never crack a book, never read a book after they leave formal education, like when they leave high school. It might have been college, but high school and college, it doesn't matter. Either way, it was a horrifying statistic to me to hear that the vast majority of our population never reads another book. Now, I guess you could make excuses and say, well, we've got the internet now and people are reading all the time. They're getting information all the time from the news. That's even more horrifying. From online sources, which, you know, those aren't backed up or verified. That's horrifying as well. Or they're just going through their day and listening to their friends and people that they work with, and they're not getting any other sources. So it's always important to consider the source, but also have multiple sources of information. Don't make decisions based on one report, one rumor, one news channel, one thing. I think the coronavirus is a huge example of this. There is so much misinformation out there and so much conflicting information. It's kind of like weight loss information, right? If you want to lose weight, just go online and see how confused you get about losing weight. Same thing with news media and events in the world. We have to consider multiple sources and then consider the source and the motivation of that source for what they are and are not telling us about a topic, right? It's very important that we do that. So that's it. Go out, hit the books today. Do something. Do one thing that you're curious about. Ask a question and look at one book, one source of something that you're curious about, and see how empowered that makes you feel. I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. If there's an idiom that you would love to know the meaning of, just share it in the comments below, and I'd be happy to research and look into it. I just heard the other day that there's 25,000 English idioms, and I was worried I might run out of them or run out of things to talk about. Isn't that funny? All right, have an absolutely amazing day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.